Right. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Good evening, hello, and welcome to this West Suffolk Council meeting, 14th of October 2025. Welcome to the members of the public, if we have any, and it doesn't look as if we do we? No. Welcome to those looking on live stream or online. Welcome to all the members. Welcome to the staff and officers, and welcome to our security. Thank you very much. It's a bit academic, really, as we have no members of the public, but if anybody does not want to be included in the live stream, please tell us now. Okay, with so many of us in the room, may I politely ask you to keep background noise to a minimum, to turn all mobile devices to silent, please, and I also ask you members to please refrain from interrupting speakers, and the debate must at all times be conducted through me on the on your microphone buttons. Thank you. Before we start, can you please all ensure that you have inserted your cards into the microphone and have pressed the enter meeting prompt on the screen, and I will be using the cue to speak function. Therefore, please press your microphone button when you wish to speak during the debate. This will place yourself in the queue. When green, this confirms that you are in the queue, and when it turns red, the mic is ready for you to speak, so you don't need to press it again just before you speak. Thank you very much. So, turning to the agenda, item number 1, we have 2 sets of minutes to approve, and I suggest on this occasion that we vote on each set separately. So, may I please have a proposer for the approval of the minutes of the meeting held on the 15th of July 2025? Councillor Waterman, thank you very much. Do I have a seconder? Second, Chair. Thank you, Councillor Lucanik. Are there any comments on the 15th of July minutes? I see Councillor Clark.
Yes, thanks. On page 12, I was promised a written response to a question. I don't seem to have had it. I checked with my group in case they'd received it and not me, and nobody else seems to have had it either.
Thank you for that, Councillor Clark. I'm sure that will be rectified at some point in the future. Thank you. Okay, on that, as there are no more comments on it, I will move to the vote. All those in favour? Any against? Any abstentions? Lovely. Thank you very much indeed. That's carried. We now move on to the extraordinary meeting that was held on 23rd of September 2025. So may I please have a proposer for that?
Thanks, Chair. I'd like to propose those minutes.
Yep, thank you. And Councillor Andrew Smith got his hand up to second it. Thank you very much indeed. Are there any comments on the extraordinary meetings minutes from 23rd of September? I see nobody, so okay. I will now take the vote. Those in favour, please.
Any against?
Yep. Any against? Any abstentions? No. That's carried. Thank you. The minutes of the meetings held on the 15th of July 2025 and the 23rd of September 2025 are confirmed as accurate records. Thank you. Okay, items number 2 is the Chair's announcements, and you will find in your packs that you have a list of the engagements that both myself and the Vice Chair have undertaken since the last ordinary meeting on 15th of July. So I won't go into depth over those. However, I might just say that my head shave event held in September raised almost £150 on the day, with donations still coming in. And I'd like to thank all of you for your support and kind generosity so far. And in actual fact, should any of you still wish to donate, further details are actually in the members' room, so you can come in there and scan the QR code and do the deed, which would be most grateful for you doing. Thank you very much. Having said that, I will now move on to item number 3, which is announcements to include apologies for absence. So I'd like to invite our monitoring officer to make any announcements and to inform of the apologies for absences received. Thank you, Teresa.
Thank you, Chair. We've received apologies for absence from councillors Michael Anderson, John Augustine, Mick Bradshaw, Diane Hind, Rowena Lindberg, Joe Rayner, Marilyn Sayer, Sarah Stamp, Kevin Yarrow, Karen Richardson and Richard Rout.
Thank you very much for that, Teresa.
Councillor Griffiths has his hand up. Andrew Speed, thank you. Thank you.
Yeah. So 2 more. Yeah, okay, lovely. Thank you. Thank you. Okay, item number 4, which is declarations of interest, and I would like to remind members of their responsibility to declare any interest no later than when that agenda item is actually reached. But if there is any interest that you would wish to declare now, please do so. And I have Councillor Sarah Broughton.
Thank you. I have a pecuniary interest in the exempt item. I have told the monitoring officer for what reason, and I'll be leaving the room for that debate. Thank you.
Thank you very much for that. Thank you. Are there any other interests that wish to be declared? No. Okay, we will swiftly move on to item number 5, which won't take very long because it's the public participation. And we have no members of the public register speak and no members of the public actually in attendance. So, item number 6, our leader's statement. The leader's statement. Members may ask the leader questions on the content of the leader's statement or indeed on any other council matter. 5 minutes is allowed for each question to be asked and answered. And the leader may also invite responses from the portfolio holders. There's a maximum time allocation for this of 30 minutes. So, Councillor Waterman, I would like to invite you to introduce your statement. Thank you.
Yeah, it's gone red. Thanks very much, Chair. I didn't recognise Phil when I saw him walking into West Suffolk House earlier. But I'm glad to see your hair is beginning to grow back, Phil. Slowly. Wow, slowly. But well done. I know that it must have been quite a terrifying experience to be in the middle of Bury Market with all those young hairdressers and their vicious tools cutting your hair off. But you never flinched once, I have to say. Moving on to other things. So we've just finished the Business Festival in Bury St Edmunds, and I'd like to say a really big thank you to all of the people involved in that. Obviously, we as a council support the whole festival, but we also do sponsor one of the awards. It's actually the 15th year of that festival. It's just finished and it saw over 1,000 businesses and individuals attend guest speaker events, exhibitions, networking, jobs fairs and workshops over the past 2 weeks. I was very honoured to be asked to cut the ribbon at the very opening ceremony, and then there were some photos taken of me and various other people cutting the celebratory cake, and I happened to send one of those photos to my youngest granddaughter, who's 11, and she came back and said, "Grandad, did you get the biggest piece of cake?" I had to tell her I didn't get any piece of cake. That's just the way it works. As I say, the Business Festival is a collaboration of business support, education, media and local authority partners that strives to show and successfully shows, I should say, how West Suffolk is a brilliant place to do business. I won't go through all the winners. You can buy your own copy of the Bury Free Press or the Haverhill, I'm not sure what Haverhill's called, but or the new Haverhill Echo, thanks Becky, or the Newmarket Journal to find out for yourselves. But it was a really lovely ceremony on Friday evening, and I did manage to get home by 2:00, which was a bit of an achievement, I think. I mean, we do just have the most brilliant businesses and others, I mean, charities as well involved. And it was a really wonderful evening to share with everybody. And we sponsored the Investing in West Suffolk category, which Rougham Estates won, and West Suffolk Hive CIC were highly commended. And a special mention I'd also like to make to Sir George Agnew, who won the Lifetime Achievement Award, which was sponsored by JNIC. And I did speak to George, and he's a very knowledgeable man about local history. So that was a very interesting conversation. Thanks to everyone who attended, including especially Councillor Wijanayaka, who was engaging with our businesses and gave the closing remarks, and actually made a bit of a storming speech. And I have to say, that's the third one of those I've been to now in succession. And it was the liveliest, certainly the noisiest audience of any of them. So it was a real pleasure for everybody involved. Moving on, the Bury Leisure Centre. I'm very pleased to say that after some delays, work is about to start on improvements for the Bury Leisure Centre, and that will start on the 11th of November. And it's all part of a wider ongoing investment that West Suffolk Council has made and continues to make in health and well-being across the whole district. The key improvements in the Bury Leisure Centre include improvements to the foyer and the cafe, new soft and water play features, consulting rooms, updated changing facilities, and decarbonisation of the site, supported through a new government grant that we achieved to get. I've been told not to mention the pirate ship. No. So I won't. This work will all be completed in phases to minimise disruption to users of the centre, and completion will be late next year, 2026. More good news, Anglia Revenue's partnership has won an award. So congratulations to ARP, who are the National Institute of Revenue's Rating and Valuation Award winners 2025 in the Excellence in Partnership Working (Service Delivery) category, which I'm sure is a highly valued award in the world of the Institute of Revenue's Rating and Valuations. ARP Enforcement was also shortlisted in the Most Improved Team of the Year category. And although they didn't win, as we said to all the finalists in the Business Award, just to be shortlisted in a category, which, by the way, included no other enforcement teams, was a massive achievement in itself. So well done to all those involved at ARP who carry out that vital work to help residents with issues such as council tax or getting benefits. Moving from council tax to the environment, from our streetlight works to our solar farm, West Suffolk is investing in tackling climate change with a range of practical measures that not only reduce greenhouse gas, but provide savings and even income to support vital services. This has seen work across the whole of the council delivered by cross-party working. But it's especially pleasing to see Councillor Jan Jarvis and Trover Tech being named as part of the 2025 Environment 100, a definitive showcase of the trailblazers, innovators and visionaries leading the charge for environmental sustainability in the UK. This is for the groundbreaking and successful introduction of the reverse vending machine, which, as everyone knows, was first installed on the basis in which we installed it in Newmarket. But it's now been rolled out, and I believe even now we've rolled it out to Cambridgeshire. So our influence and our fame is spreading. And as I say, many thanks to Councillor Jarvis and also to the Environment and Sustainability Working Group, which have done so much in this area as well. Finally, councillors, as you know, you're all community champions. And I mentioned in my statement the written statement, the great work councillors have been carrying out in supporting businesses when other less scrupulous traders have been selling illegal and harmful products, and a really exemplary example of how agencies can work together was shown recently when 3 vape shops in Newmarket were closed down for selling illegal tobacco and illegal vapes. And it might sound like a victimless crime, but actually the victims are the other traders in the town who trade legally and responsibly. So very well done to everyone involved in that. And really the final thing, and I've written to everybody already and said I'd not be making any announcements tonight about changes to the Cabinet. It would be wrong for me not to mention and indeed thank Councillor Jim Thorndike. While Jim, for understandable reasons, is stepping back from his Cabinet role, I know he will continue to provide his steadfast support for his communities as a local councillor. I'm sure you'll all want to join me in offering my sincere thanks to Jim for his exemplary service as Cabinet Member for Planning since 2023, during which time he has successfully overseen the new local plan for West Suffolk, as well as the general delivery of the crucial and high-profile service. Indeed, one of his last engagements as Cabinet Member was to join local members and other dignitaries for the long-awaited opening of the Haverhill Relief Road. It was also good to see the road has been called Suffolk Regiment Way in memory of the regiment which has served so well and has such strong ties to West Suffolk. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you very much, Councillor Waterman. I'm not going to ask, are there any questions for the leader, because I already have people on the board, so I will move straight to Councillor Hood, if I may, please.
Thank you, Chair. And I know we all echo the thanks to Councillor Thorndike, who's having been on the local plan group. He did the most wonderful job. So more thanks. Could I ask the leader to turn to page 43, item 36, markets? That says, I'm pleased to say that our markets across the district are thriving like never before, with more market traders, more footfall, and a real buzz around them. Well, with the exception of the berry market, which I don't know about, I have to say that's a demonstrably untrue statement. And it's certainly untrue for Newmarket, where our market was moved off the high street when it had about 15 stalls and now has 2, maybe 3 stalls. The Town Council, Newmarket Town Council, has been campaigning for several years to try and get the market back on the high street where it would be thriving, because it's not now. And I am told that Newmarket, Mildenhall and Haverhill are all not growing, but shrinking. So could we please be provided with some evidence for the statement that I just read out? Because certainly from the perspective of Newmarket, it's just not accurate, which is a kind way of describing it. Thank you.
Thank you for that, Councillor Hood. Councillor Waterman.
Well, I'm sorry to hear members talking down markets. They are growing. We are putting money into developing them. I agree, it's not as fast as we'd like, but thinking back 2 years ago, they're in a much healthier position than they were then. But I'll ask my colleague, Councillor Wijanayake, to perhaps fill in some of the detail, if I may.
Thank you for that question, and thank you, Councillor Waterman. What I will say is, and I will point out, that the Newmarket market was moved in 2018 under the previous administration, so that needs to be pointed out. That has been there on Market Square for a little while now. We have committed £100,000 per year, and we are almost halfway through the market development plan. It is a work in progress, I will say that. What I will do is I will send every single member of this council the details of how many market traders are increasing. You will have that in a written statement. What I will also say is we are promoting our markets, and I would like all our councillors to promote our markets as best we can. Use all your social media to say that there's markets going on. We have the young traders. We have had young traders regional finals in Newmarket previously. We've had it in Bury. We've also had it in Haverhill as well. So we are putting more effort and more emphasis, and we're putting the horsepower into our markets to make sure we change the tide that was under the previous administration. And for anyone to actually say it's not there is either misguided or very impatient, and we haven't been listening to the fact that we've been putting the market development plans in place. We do ask, and I do ask, that you do be patient, look at the data that you will get, and then judge us. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Janaka. I will now move, if I may, to Councillor Andy Drummond, please.
Thank you, Chair. My question to the leader is on exactly the same item. So we're talking about 36 on page 43. Is the leader aware that West Suffolk officers are urging Newmarket Town Council to pass a resolution to not want the market relocated back to the High Street? I'll just say that I believe this is so that the COVID recovery UK Shared Prosperity Fund monies can be allocated to the Market Square, which is in the ownership of West Suffolk. Thank you.
Thank you for that, Councillor. I will move back to Councillor Waterman, if you would like to answer.
Many thanks. Councillor Drummond, I'm sure Newmarket Town Council are very able to make up their own minds, so I have no fears under that score. In relation to the other thing, I think I might again defer to my colleague, Councillor Wijanayake.
Councillor Wijanayake.
Thank you, Councillor Waterman. Obviously, thank you very much for that one. That is a very good point. And what I would say, again, we are working with Newmarket Town Council in a collegiate manner. We have had a meeting with Newmarket Town Council, which included the mayor, and we made it clear that it's not something that we are urging you to do or them to do because of our preference. We're doing it and being very clear about the costs of moving it back onto the high street. The cost of moving it back onto the high street is very high. We are not either way aligned to having it on the on Market Square or the high street. We are open-minded, but because of those costs, we are suggesting that putting more emphasis into Market Square and putting the investment into Market Square will actually deliver more return on investment to our residents. Thank you.
Thank you for that. Thank you, Councillor. I would like to go to Councillor Andy Neal, please.
Thank you, Chair. I have a question for the leader, and I'm hoping to get some positive answer. And it's to do with commercial development along the A11, which is a strategic priority. And I would like to know or be informed of any work that's going on behind the scenes, meetings that have taken place, whether we've reached out to partners that are going to need to be involved in such a development, because the time for West Suffolk Council's running out, and I would like to know that we would be in a strong position to pass something on to the unitary from a personal point of view. And obviously I don't expect to be in the loop, but it is Mildenhall, and I haven't heard or even had a murmur of any action at all, but I'm sure there is. So I look forward to some positive news. And I'll ask this question next month, and the month after, and the month after that. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Neal. Councillor Waterman.
Yeah, Andy, I don't think anyone would ever accuse you of not being persistent. It's a very good question, though. It is certainly an area that offers enormous potential for economic growth. It does offer challenges as well, not least of which is the road infrastructure. We have set aside a sum of money to bring forward plans for that economic development. And you're absolutely right. This council will cease to exist in 2.5 years' time, by which time we will have handed over to another council. And the ambition is to have some very well thought through, well argued and well evidenced proposals that council, our successor council, and indeed the new mayor will be able to progress. And I think the future of industry and the economy in Mildenhall is very bright. And I certainly want to make sure that we make the most of that opportunity. Can I ask as well for my colleague, portfolio holder for growth, to answer this question as well?
Yes, please do.
Thank you, Councillor Waterman, for that question, and also thank you, Councillor Neil, for that question. What I will say is, yes, we are working with all the interested stakeholders. We are taking the economic growth on the A11 corridor extremely seriously. As you will know, we've put in our strategic priorities. We've allocated some money for it. We are working through the project. And again, you will get all the written information about all the discussions that we have had with the developers. And actually, Councillor Neil, you have also been involved in the project around the A11 corridor. So you should have that information already as what we're doing. And we will have something that will be able to be given to a new unitary. There will also be work that we as a council, in the remaining time that we have, will be able to develop towards Mildenhall. Thank you.
Thank you for that. I would like to invite Councillor Margaret Marks.
Thank you, Chair. Councillor Waterman, first of all, I'm delighted that you call us community champions, because indeed we are all elected equal. We have bought the Stour View, and in the minutes, 2 minutes back, I think, we commented that you were hopeful that we would have some mental health facilities in there. And I would like to ask, please, how that's progressing. We met with the police, a number of councillors here met with the police in Haverhill. You know that we have street drinkers, and some of those have mental health problems. We have very poor mental health facilities in Haverhill, and we have nowhere for those people to go to get that help other than coming to Bury to Turning Point. So if you could enlighten us, and I'm sure all of the councillors in Haverhill would be delighted to know, so that we can inform our residents what is happening on Stour View, please.
Thank you, Councillor Marks. Councillor Waterman.
Yeah, thanks very much. And Margaret, I mean, I know you are one of the strongest community champions in this chamber. So no, that's not in any doubt. Yes, we did buy the Stour View Medical Centre, and yes, there are ambitious plans to provide services out of it. I think, though, my colleague Councillor Higgins knows more about the details of that. So if I may, Chair, I'll pass over to Councillor Higgins.
Yeah, Councillor Higgins, please.
Yep. Okay, thank you. I think I pressed it to say I'd like to answer. It was too previous. Details. No. As Margaret, you would know, there is a group called One Haverhill, and in actual fact, the town council themselves are very instrumental in pushing forward and developing ideas for what's going on in the Stour View. What has happened is that we have provided a facility at very reasonable cost to them, and they are building on that with their community partners. So I do suggest that you go to the town council. Colin Poole, I know, has been very instrumental. With the street drinkers, I believe the discussion on those was that perhaps Stour View was not the correct place for them, that they might actually need
some kind of facility more appropriate to their needs. What I am doing is I'm going to be reaching out to the local faith community, because I know in Bury St Edmunds the drop-in is organised by a faith community, and they really do really wonderful work with that. So when and if the time comes, we will, of course, give them every support we can. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Higgins. Next on my list is Councillor Wakelam. Thank you.
Thank you, Chair. Councillor Waterman, you say, if I have the theme for this leader's statement, it's encouraging a thriving West Suffolk. Would you agree that a thriving West Suffolk is only possible if all members of our community, of whatever background, are valued and supported by us as council?
Seems to be a delay. It wasn't just Councillor Higgins who had a delay. Thanks very much, Councillor Wakelam. Absolutely. I'm proud to be an East Anglian. I'm proud to be English. I'm proud to be British. And part of the pride that I take in being British, in being English, in being an East Anglian, and coming from Bury St Edmunds, is that we are an incredibly diverse and varied lot. It always has been, and it always will be. My mother, who sadly passed away a few years ago, used to say that our bloodline contained Jewish, Irish, Gypsy, French, and I'm sure there were a few other things that she forgot to mention. And all of us, I think, share those shared bloodlines, and we celebrate that because that diversity brings a richness to our society that I think is probably unique in the world and makes Britain the fabulous place it is. So yes, I totally endorse what you say. Every single councillor must be responsible for every single member of their community, no matter what their gender, what their race, what their religion or lack of religion, any of those other things that we vary by. So yes, thank you very much for that question. That was an excellent question, and I fully endorse the sentiment behind it.
Thank you for that, Councillor Waterman. I'm very conscious of time. We have about 6 minutes left. But I still have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 speakers. So if you could be as brief as possible, we'll get as many of you in as we can. Thank you. Councillor Glossop.
Thank you, Chairman. I'm finding it quite amazing this evening because I was going to talk about the lack of engagement and information for councillors, and yet all this evening so far it's been about that subject. And I've also just been handed a note to say Ian Shipp has emailed all councillors about a detailed schedule for the leisure centre, which I was going to ask about. So somebody must be reading my mind. But what I would like to say is, can we please, just ordinary members, because we have the public talking to us and we don't know what to say to them because we don't know half the time what's going on. And I do think that we do need to have more engagement for all of us ordinary members, please. But on that subject, I was going to talk about the leisure centre, but I don't need to now, other than to say it's 17 months since we heard about modernisation. So it would be lovely to have some timescales, although I think, Cliff, you have now said it would be completed in 18 months' time. So it would be nice to keep us up to date. But the other thing I want to talk about is I want to know about the evaluation and information about the Brandon Commission, which has cost $250,000. We're about to start on the next local plan, and I believe it has to be completed in 2.5 years' time. And as everyone knows, when you have the local plan, there is a set criteria to what will get put into the local plan for housing and employment. So I do not understand how what I've read of this commission at the moment is going to give us any more information than we already knew to help us with the next local plan. So I'm very concerned about that, and I would ask, and I've looked online and it says that Cliff is going to be given a report. I think it would be lovely to have a report actually saying how we have value for money from that piece of work. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Glossop. Councillor Waterman.
Yeah, thanks very much, Susan, for that question. You're absolutely right. We've invested money in an independent commission for Brandon. And I was just talking to one of the businessmen from Brandon who's part of that commission during the business festival, actually, and he was saying how important he felt it was. And I won't go into all the reasons why, except to say that he felt very strongly that Brandon was an important town. It's one of the 6 towns in West Suffolk, but it is a town that suffered from a lack of investment, especially in housing. Without giving my colleague sitting next to me a burst blood vessel by mentioning a particular avian creature, we all know where the problem lies. So, all joking aside, we could have just gone on banging our heads against a brick wall. But that would have not been a sensible thing to do. So we have invested money in what I think will be a very informative report. When it's published, obviously every member will be invited to read it, and I'm sure we'll put on a member engagement session around it. And what I'm hoping it will give us the tools to unlock the enormous potential of Brandon so that it can achieve its full place as one of our 6 shining towns. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Waterman. We have about 3 minutes left, so I'll quickly move to Carol Bull.
Speak as quickly as I can, thank you. I just wanted to raise the question of Olding Road, the changes in the proposals, not actually to discuss the new decision that's been made, but the procedure for it. I know there has been some concern right across members that the original proposal for the development at Olding Road was a council decision in July last year. We now have another proposal came forward to change that decision, and that went to Cabinet. I have talked at length with our monitoring officer, who's been very helpful, and I now understand the reasoning within our constitution why that has happened. But it does seem to me that there is something innately wrong that a decision made by whole council can be overturned and changed by Cabinet. And I would like to think that our Constitution Review Group could look at this anomaly. So that is my suggestion. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Bull. Councillor Waterman.
Thanks very much, Councillor Bull. I think it is important to stress that the decision that you discuss was made in full public transparencies. The papers were available publicly, and the decision was subject to the call-in procedure through the Overview and Scrutiny Committee, and had also been on Cabinet's forward plan. And the Chair of Overview and Scrutiny did not consider it needed to be subject to a call-in. The decision made at Cabinet on the 16th of September regarding Olding Road has been reviewed by the Council's monitoring officer, and she remains content that the Cabinet decision was made in line with the Council's constitution and the executive functions that Cabinet hold. And I think, as you've said, Carol, you've discussed that with the monitoring officer, and she's made you completely cognizant of the thinking behind that. So following the Cabinet decision, we now turn our focus to the delivery of one of our strategic projects, which will look to remove the eyesore building that we see behind us, and will also remove £300,000 of holding costs per annum that we are currently pouring down the drain, frankly, to provide a significant recreational community facility for West Suffolk and a net income to support the delivery of much valued council services. Although we still have a number of steps to go through, I, for one, am very excited about bringing this site forward and back into use to deliver for the communities we serve. And just on your final point, I'm more than happy for the Constitution Review Group to review that procedure and any other procedure come to that. And obviously, if they bring forward proposals, we will consider them carefully and hopefully act on them. So thank you very much for that question.
Thank you, Councillor Waterman. We are actually over time, but I'm going to exercise my discretion. We've got 3 more speakers. I will not accept any more, but if you can be one sentence each, please. And I will move to Councillor Major.
Thank you very much indeed for that. I shall be very brief. My comments were also in relation to page 43.36 under the market. Obviously delighted that we've seen all these markets right throughout our county so thriving. I just wonder whether it would be possible when the reports come back to try to quantify that a little bit. We have spent tens of thousands of pounds of taxpayers' money on reviving these markets, and I perhaps think it'll be helpful to have a few more numbers and just to be told that we think they're thriving. My second point is also relating to what Councillor Gossop has already said. I was a bit saddened to find on my Facebook and subsequently in my email list questions regarding this new dentist we're supposedly going to get into council property in the middle of the town centre. I think it would be helpful if we as councillors was told of very significant developments, in particular where it is property that we own and with significant issues that is obviously very much talked about. Dentist is a sore point right throughout Suffolk, and if we really are going to get major assets suddenly coming down, it would be helpful to know. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Major. Councillor Waterman, very briefly, please.
Just waiting for my light to go red. Yes, Councillor Major, it is a great coup for the council to have got this tenant into our building. Just before anyone gets overexcited, they're not an NHS dentist, although they do offer training, so that will be helpful for the overall dental picture in the town. And regarding your comments about communications internally, I'm more than happy to ask our communications team to review the way they get news out to members. Although my impression of it is it's pretty efficient already, but I'll ask them to review it. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Waterman. Councillor Mason.
Thank you, Chair. I'll speak quickly. Over a year ago, I was bemoaning the state of Haver Hills Market. I do feel the leader statement today is gilding the lily. My question relates to the information that Councillor Hood was requesting. Can it be granular data be provided where data isn't just conflated with makers' market days, which I think was previously suggested by Councillor Glossop in the previous administration. And market days are a good idea, but the success of a market is from week to week to week, not just once a month. And can we have assurances that the data that Councillor Hood has provided is granular and also shows which days are big event days? For example, Armed Forces Day is a particular big day. And so that sort of data is also taken into account, that it isn't just the market that is driving footfall, but sometimes there's other things as well. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Mason. Councillor Waterman.
I'm tempted to just say yes, but I'll give a slightly fuller answer. I'm sure when you get the data that Councillor Wijanak has already promised, I'm sure you will be the first to come back if you feel there's anything missing. So I invite you to do that. Thank you.
Thank you for that. And last in this session, please, Councillor Furman.
Thank you. Question for Cliff. There's no evidence whatsoever about the markets thriving. It's utter rubbish. I mean, Bury on a Wednesday is struggling now. Haverhill on a Saturday is struggling. I've stood in that concrete for 38 years. What's happened about the market review? Nothing's come forward. I was told by Cliff to be patient. They've been in office now 2 years and 5 months, and nothing has been done whatsoever, in my opinion. That is all. Thank you.
Could we follow my instructions at the beginning of this council meeting that you don't disturb? Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thanks very much, Chair, and thanks, Paul, for your question. And I know you're a market trader yourself, so I respect your knowledge and your opinion. But we have been doing lots. Markets throughout the country are struggling. It is true that bigger markets tend to do better than smaller markets. People don't always want to go and buy their vegetables and their fish and their meat on their local market. Often they prefer to go by car, but we are doing lots. It is frustratingly slow. I would love to see the markets thriving even more than they are now, but I would totally reject your statement that we've done nothing. We've done lots, and we will continue to do lots, and it will continue to improve. And I encourage everybody to do their very best to promote our markets, to use our markets, and to help them thrive as we hope they will. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Waterman. Lovely. Right. Before we commence the referrals report, before commencing the referrals report of recommendations from Cabinet, please note that there are no referrals emanating from the meeting held on the 22nd of July 2025. In addition, you will have noticed the inclusion of an exempt referral on the agenda, and we'll consider this later in private session. So item number 7 at the moment is referral from Cabinet, 16th of September 2025, Treasury Managed Report, June 2025. And I call upon Councillor Waterman to introduce this and move the motion. Thank you.
Many thanks, Chair. As always with these reports, the report is self-explanatory, and so I will just commend the report to you and move the motion. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you very much. Who would like to second this motion? Are there any people that would like to speak? Oh, do you reserve your right to speak?
No, I don't.
No, okay. Anything from the floor? No, no. Okay, so I shall move straight to the vote on that. Oh, would you like to speak?
It's very kind of you to offer, Councillor Whittam, but I don't need to say anything. Thank you.
Okay, so now we will move to the vote, please. All those in favour? Any against? Any abstentions? Motion is carried. Thank you very much. Item number 8, referral from Cabinet, 16th of September 2025, Annual Treasury Management and Financial Resilience Report for the years 2024 to 2025. And once again, I call upon Councillor Waterman to introduce this item and move the motion. Thank you.
Many thanks, Chair. Once again, it's self-explanatory, and I move the motion. And I'm sure Councillor Armitage will second it. Thank you.
Is that right, Councillor Armitage?
That is correct.
Thank you. Would you like to speak now or reserve your right to speak at the end?
No, I would not like to speak now.
Okay, thank you very much indeed. Are there any requests to speak? And there are not. So, Councillor Waterman, would you like to?
No, thanks.
We will go to the vote on that. Those all in favour, please. Any against? Any abstentions? No. Okay, so that is carried. Thank you very much indeed. Item number 9, review of the political balance and appointment to committees. God, you're a busy guy tonight. I call upon Councillor Waterman to introduce this item and move the motion, please.
Many thanks, Chair. I am claiming overtime, I have to say. Sadly, I don't get paid for this. This is a motion that's needed because we've got some changes to the political groupings. We've got a new grouping and we've got one or two other changes as well. So my understanding is that all the group leaders have looked at these changes and were happy with them. Obviously, they are quite complex. I remember seeing the monitoring officer slaving over 2 screens and doing a very amazing job to juggle all the numbers. So I think they're uncontroversial. So on that note, I'll propose the motion. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you very much, Councillor Waterman. Who would like to second it? Councillor Lucanic?
Happy to second, Chair, and nothing to add.
Thank you very much. Reserve your right to speak at the end? No?
Nothing to add, Chair.
Thank you. Sorry?
Yeah, you're right. No, you're right.
we have nobody wishing to speak. Sorry. No, that's okay. You're fine. On this item, so I will move directly to the vote. Oh, yeah, Councillor Waterman.
No, thanks.
I knew he was going to say that. Right, okay. All those in favour? Any against? Any abstentions? Thank you. That is carried. Item 10, motions on notice, and I have been advised prior to the meeting that Councillor Julia Wakelam has withdrawn her motion on notice as set out in the papers, and it's COU/WS/25/025. Thank you. This has been agreed by the seconder, Councillor Laura Miller-Jones. So we only have the one, which is from Councillor Becky Hoffensberger, and I would ask Councillor Hoffensberger to... Oh, right, okay, I've got... I will remind you all that it is, as it is a motion on notice, that only 5 members may speak once the motion has been proposed and seconded. And all members, including the proposer and seconder, may only speak for a maximum of 3 minutes. So now over to you, Councillor Hoffens.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. The motion before colleagues today is of growing importance to communities across our district. Indeed, since its publication, I've had a number of residents contact me, all adding their support. Under the current planning legislation, landlords can convert a family home class C3 into small houses in multiple occupancy, class C4, without the need of planning permission. In many cases, this may seem harmless. However, when left unchecked, HMOs can and do lead to significant challenges: parking pressures, waste management issues, increased noise complaints, and critically, the erosion of balanced communities. Many residents feel the character of their neighbourhoods is being altered without their say, and that is exactly the issue. Because these changes happen under permitted development rights, local communities and indeed this council are effectively cut out of the decision-making process. Through the introduction of an Article 4 directive, we can ensure that proposals to convert family homes into HMOs are brought through the planning system, subject to local scrutiny and democratic oversight. Mr. Chairman, I want to make it clear, this is not about banning HMOs. We recognise the importance well-managed HMOs play in delivering housing needs, particularly for some vulnerable individuals. It's about ensuring balance, protecting residential amenity and maintaining sustainable communities through providing those checks and balances to, where appropriate, provide safe accommodation for our residents. Several councils such as Ipswich, Cambridge and Oxford have already introduced Article 4 directions with success. I propose that this council requests officers to prepare an evidence-based report on the issues of HMO conversions across West Suffolk. If that report provides justification, Cabinet would then be asked to move forward with an application for an Article 4 direction district-wide. This is a measured, evidence-led approach. It does not make any immediate changes. It will be subject to a 12-month consultation period, whereby concerns can be explored and challenges to be incorporated into any new policy direction. It is a policy change that can be complemented by current enforcement action on more unscrupulous landlords and any measures that may be introduced by the Rent Reform Act. It ensures that we as a council are equipped to act in the interest of our residents if the data supports intervention. Let us be proactive, not reactive. Let's ensure that West Suffolk remains a place where communities thrive, with housing that meets local needs and a planning process that includes the voice of the people we serve. I urge you all to support this motion. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Hoffensberger. Could I call upon Councillor Andrew Smith to second the motion, please?
Yes, Chair, I'm very content to second the motion. I reserve my right to speak later.
Thank you very much. No, I might put my speaker on. Yeah. We have Councillor Brown. And you have 3 minutes, sir.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, thank you, Chair. I really welcome Becky bringing this motion before the council. I do have reservations around the 12 months consultation period. I think things need to move faster than that. But I'll get down to what I'm going to say is, fellow councillors, please picture this: a once cosy family home crammed with strangers, walls thin as paper, echoing with arguments over the last clean fork, toilet roll, or who puts money in the electric meter. That's often the reality of a house in multiple occupation, or HMO, a shared rental packed with unrelated tenants chasing affordable shelter in our squeezed housing market. But while HMOs promise quick fixes, they can breed a toxic brew of dangers that erode lives, communities, and our very sense of home. It's time to call HMOs out for what they are, mainly a bad thing that we can no longer ignore. Not all HMOs are bad, but I think a lot of them are generally. Places where very often safety is sacrificed on the altar of profit. Overcrowding turns bedrooms into sardine cans, often not meeting minimum space standards. You are twice as likely to die in a fire in an HMO. Hazards can lurk everywhere, from damp walls breeding mould to faulty wiring, sparking tragedy. Kitchens and bathrooms become battlegrounds for clashing lifestyles. Noisy nights, unclean sinks, endless compromises that fray nerves and spark feuds. Tenants surrender control, their sanctuary dictated by the whims of roommates or a distant landlord, turning what should be a refuge into a living nightmare. HMOs can accelerate decline in neighbourhoods, especially those areas of more affordable housing in our towns that are often preyed on by rogue and absentee landlords, some churning through tenants like a revolving door, leaving properties and streets scarred by neglect. Parking wars, litter-strewn gardens, a hollowed-out community spirit can often follow. We are now hearing that landlords are trying to buy up houses or evict long-term tenants so they can cash in on lucrative HMO contracts. This is having the effect on reducing the rental housing market and pushing up prices for desperate families. HMOs aren't housing, they're a half measure, harming the vulnerable most. We must demand stricter licensing incentives for family homes. One-bedroom apartments and real affordable builds. Let's build better in West Suffolk. This motion, as presented, will give the nearby residents and council a say on if and where any future HMOs can go. It will also help identify HMOs so they can be properly inspected.
Sorry to interrupt, Tony. Can you finish in one sentence, please?
Sure, yeah. Hopefully we as councillors can do more for these often neglected HMO tenants and their neighbours. Please vote for the motion. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Thank you. I'd like to move to Councillor Frank Stennett, please.
Thank you, Chair. Can I oppose an amendment to the motion, please?
Yes. Yep.
Is it possible that everybody can see the amendment before I speak the rest of my 3 minutes, Chair?
It needs to be seconded first.
Councillor Driscoll, could you second the motion? Thank you.
Chair, sorry, we need to know what the motion is first.
We need to know what it is. You have to move your motion. Amendment to the motion.
Yes. Can I have a point of order? Do you want me to read the motion, what I've got? Yes, thank you. This council requests that officers present an evidence-based House Multiple Occupancies report to Cabinet, while acknowledging the positive aspects of shared housing, will cover detrimental effects on communities, in particular examine fire risks, enforcement action taken, council interventions dealing with landlord and tenants, and how the council enforces House of Multiple Occupancies regulations, and if the removal of permitted development rights for changes of use from dwelling houses to houses of multiple occupation MHOs would assist the council in regulation of MHOs. The report will also consider alternative approaches to deliver the best outcomes. Any conclusion reached must consider potential unintended consequences to avoid loss of available accommodation, particularly to vulnerable individuals, those in housing need. If Cabinet considers such evidence supports an application and is proportionate to the challenges faced, they shall undertake a necessary public consultation, providing 12 months notice of the application, and apply for direction under Article 4(1) the Town and Country Planning Act, General Permitted Development Order 1995, as amended across the District of West Suffolk, such that development consisting of changes of the use of a building to use class falling within Class C, dwelling house of multiple occupancy, to the schedule of the Town and Country Planning Act, Class Users Order 1987, as amended from a use falling within Class C3, dwelling house of schedule being development proposed within Class 1B of Schedule 2 of the Town and Country Planning Act, General Development Order 1995, as amended, not being development comprised of any other class, i.e. to remove permitted development rights for changes from dwelling house to houses in multiple occupation. I've got a bit of paper with it on.
Thank you, Councillor Stinnett. Would anybody like? Would anybody like to second this? Which is Councillor O'Driscoll. Would you like to speak now, or would you reserve your right to speak?
I'm happy to speak now, if that's okay, Chair.
Yep, that's fine. Thank you, Councillor.
Okay, so thank you very much, Chair, and thank you, members of the council.
We're seconding a motion that I'm very unclear as to what the amendment is, because it's quite complicated. So can we see the amendment before we start debating? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I just didn't want anyone to speak. I thought Councillor Driscoll was going to speak on the amendment.
No, I have to allow him to second the motion, and he's chosen to speak at the front. So once he has.
So, Chair, if you pause it now, we can hand out the wording and then Councillor O'Driscoll can continue.
Yes, that's fine. Did everybody hear that? I'm going to pause this meeting currently, and everybody will get a copy of this amendment. I'll hand back to Councillor Richard O'Driscoll because he was seconding and speaking up front.
You need to press. Thank you, Chair. So I've listened with interest to the debate so far, and there is not much I disagree with. But I was particularly interested in Councillor Brown's comments, and I think both myself and many people here will be aware that Tony Brown has been concerned about this issue for some time. And I think the picture that he has described, I think, is bleak, and I think it's accurate in some cases, and I think it's very important that we take note that it is in some cases. For many people, HMOs are simple homes that are shared between people. Many of us in this room will have lived in HMOs at some point, either as students or when we first left home or at other times in our lives. And for most people, that provision works very, very well and is a very important part of the overall housing provision that we have. And it is important that we protect it. However, as Councillor Brown has explained, sometimes things go wrong. And sometimes that is because of planning issues. And I think an Article 4 directive may be useful, but I think it is important that that's explored. But I also think it's important in terms of what it won't do. It won't deal with antisocial behaviour of existing HMOs. It won't deal with unscrupulous landlords. And I think in taking this motion forward, I think we do need to have a proper look at this subject. We do need a very strong evidence base, as has been asked for, but we need to form a very good understanding of what the HMO position is in our area, and we need to come up with a proportionate response, and that includes looking at a number of options. We know that Article 4 has an extremely high threshold, so I don't think we should be putting all of our eggs in that basket. We should certainly consider it, but we should consider other measures too, including licensing measures, and we should also consider legislation that's coming forward through the Renters Reform Act. So I'm very happy to support Councillor Stennett's amendment, and I would urge members to vote for it.
Thank you very much, Councillor O'Driscoll. Councillor Brown, you are able to speak only on the amendment. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks, Chair. Thanks, Frank, and thanks, Richard. Yeah, it sounds, to be fair, that we're all virtually singing from the same song sheet around this. But what I really care about, and Richard did point out, there are some good HMOs, no doubt there are, but the people that are living in bad HMOs are suffering, and they've gone through horrors, and so sometimes of their neighbours. This is a problem that I've been trying to highlight for 10 years. And, the council and the officers should have enough information around what's going on. It's been going on for years and years and years. So I hope, whichever way this goes, that the council takes the issue of HMOs extremely seriously, and, for once, and all gets on top of it. There are people living in absolutely extremely bad conditions, and it's our responsibility. We can do something about it, and I ask you to all do something about it. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Councillor Brown. Is there anybody else that would like to speak on this issue? On the amendment. On the amendment, rather. Councillor Waterman.
Many thanks, Chair. This amendment has been very carefully considered in the light of what are frankly some deficiencies in the original motion. And what the amendment does is it gives that motion some teeth, and it gives it an action and an outcome. And so, members, I commend this to you. This is a much improved motion, and therefore I commend the amendment to the motion. Thanks, Chair.
Thank you very much, Councillor Waterman. I have no other current speakers, so I would like to move back. No. No. So I would like to move back to Councillor Hoffensberger for her response and close of the debate, please.
On the amendment. Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and thank you, Councillor Stennett and Driscoll, for the amendment we have before you. Everything that has been said in the part 1 of the recommendation is exactly what I outlined in my my speech with regards to what we would be taking into account. I would not expect a evidence-based approach not to look at the pros and cons of what we have. I've recognised that HMOs play an important part in the housing needs of our residents. I recognise that there are good and bad. I also recognise that there are ways in which we can use the Rent Reformers Act and such, all in my opening speech. And I didn't say that the motion on notice that I proposed was going to ignore all those facts. I'm afraid it feels, and I don't want to use these words, but I will, a bit like a word salad. And it seems to me that it is watering down the original motion with regards to an Article 4. My fear is that we end up going down a different track and Article 4 gets put more onto the back burner and we end up not exploring the pros and cons of an Article 4. So I'm afraid to that point, I will not be supporting the recommendation before us as amended.
Thank you, Councillor Hoffensberg. I will now move to the vote on the amendment proposed by Councillor Stennett and seconded by Councillor Driscoll. All those in favour, please.
And keep your hands really up, sorry.
All those against, please. Any abstentions? The amendment is carried. Thank you. Okay, so yeah, the amendment has passed. The substantive motion now on the table is the original motion as amended. The debate will now continue on this amended motion. Those that spoke on the amendment cannot speak again.
Chair, it's a vote on the amendment that has passed, so now they're going to debate the amended motion,
Which is what I've just said.
Yeah.
Excuse me, can you just pay attention, please? It is the vote on the amendment that has passed, and we now discuss the amended motion.
And then you vote again.
And then you vote again. But those that spoke previously on the amendment cannot speak again. Thank you. Who wishes to speak?
Councillor Smith. Councillor Smith, because he was
Yeah. Councillor Smith, you reserved your right to speak at the end.
Thank you, Chair. Yes, I did, but this amendment has sort of thrown me into a little bit of confusion, if I'm being perfectly truthful. So I will not speak on the amended motion at this. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you.
No, because he's spoken the amendment.
Yeah, I'm sorry, Councillor Stennett, you can't speak because you spoke on the amendment.
Councillor.
Okay, so we will go back to Councillor Hoffensberger to close the debate on the amended motion.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I haven't got very much more to add because other than I think my disappointment that the original motion has been watered down to a certain extent. Whilst I recognise the concerns that were raised, I also recognise the importance HMOs play, and I did make it very clear that it was not about reducing the amount of HMOs or indeed banning them. It was about a proper, regulated, safe environment whilst ensuring that our community's voices are heard through the planning process with regards to potential HMOs that will be affecting their communities. I am disappointed that this may not be looked at. I haven't had any assurances that the overriding amendment would be around Article 4 and not potentially backing up what the system that we already have in place. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Councillor Hoffensberger, for closing the debate on the amended motion. So,
point of information. Just to make absolutely clear that the original statement in the amendment, can I speak on a point of information?
No.
Okay.
Stop.
I will be quiet.
The debate is closed. So I will now move to the vote on the amended original motion, which is, those in favour, please.
Sorry, it's you can keep your hands off.
I can't do the other one.
Yeah, like 30, yeah. Against.
Those against, please. Can we stop chattering in the chamber, please?
Oh, I'm so sorry.
I ask again, stop chattering in the chamber, please, while the vote is being conducted.
Any abstentions? Abstentions.
Any abstentions, please?
Carried.
Number 11, any other urgent business? We have no items of... Something we said? Okay, thank you very much. Item number 11, any other urgent business? We have no items of other urgent business to consider on this occasion, so I shall move to item number 12, which is the exclusion of the press and public. We need to move into a private session before considering the next item of business, which is exempt. I therefore propose to move into private session, the terms for which are set out under item 12. Who wishes to second the motion? Thank you, Councillor Waterman.
Yes, I'd like to second the motion, please, Chair.
Thank you. I would like to move to a vote to move into... Does any member wish to speak on this? No. No? Okay, so we will have a vote to move into private session. Hold on. Okay, I've got two people on the screen wishing to speak on this. It's Frank Stennett. No? Can that be cancelled off, please? And Councillor Pugh. Councillor Pugh.
Press it again. I think it's been cancelled. Ask her to press it again.
Right,
There we go.
good. It wasn't on this motion. I've been trying to signal. I wanted to know, could you not tell us what the vote is? You busily count it, you note it down yourselves, but you never tell us how many voted. Is there a reason why we're never told how many vote in favour, against or abstain? I'm just curious.
You do it.
The vote on the last item for the motion on notice as amended. So the vote was 34, 20 against and 1 abstention.
Thank you for that, Claire. So I need to take a vote on to moving into private session. All those in favour, please. Any against? Any abstentions? No.
2 against.
2 against.
2 against, the rest were in favour.
Thank you.
Thank you.
conclude the meeting, I must invite press and public back if they so desire to come, and resume recording, please. Thank you. Okay, so at 20:34 hours on this day, the 14th of October, 2025, I close this meeting. Thank you very much all for coming. Could you leave and do come and partake of the refreshments? Thank you.